Good evening. We're going to try a new medium today. And I've been sitting here contemplating about certain economical things that are going on. I'm definitely one that would encourage the removal of waste and fraud. We see the results of those from everything that's going on around us. But I'm going to present one that's a little bit of a hot take, and it'll be interesting to see how it's taken. The removal of the penny, and quite probably the removal of the penny and the nickel, based on their current cost of production. There are two, really three problems with removing the penny. The first one, it's more of an etheric, metaphysical, and that is it's an acceptance that prices are not expected to really come back down. In a day gone by, you could pay, 70 cents for a gallon of gas, or things like that. We've all heard stories about these. But the expectation is, by removing the penny and the nickel, we're not going to see prices come down to those points. You look at what happened for instance, Zimbabwe, where their currency was inflated to such a high extent that a loaf of bread was, uh, what was the number? Like 10 million Zimbabwe dollars? Something like that. I don't remember the specific number, but there you go. It was an astronomically high number. And that's the etheric metaphysical problem with removing the penny. Another problem that comes up that's presented is realistically shrewd merchants will look at this, and the idea is, we'll round up or down to the nearest, whatever. Before they remove the nickel, we'll round up or down to the nearest five. Well, as a shrewd merchant, they will price their stuff to where it always rounds up. Logically, why wouldn't you do that? Hey, I can just price this way, and it's 1 or 2 cents. Nobody's going to really notice. And that is theft. It really is theft. It's fraud. And the third is kind of the opposite, but the same, is the debasing of our currency in the same way that your rate that you get paid at your job. Now, there are some people, of course, that they have a set hour that they get paid for. Like, you just know, salaried people especially, you know that you're going to be paid for 40 hours, and it's this. Boom. But for hourly employees, where you clock in, you clock out, you have those minutes and seconds that vary based on what your hourly rate is. And you look at your paycheck, and it's, X amount of dollars and X amount of cents. Well, the employer is going to have to adjust to this process. And what is the employer going to do? Logically, they're going to round down. Why? Because it saves them money. Again, this is fraud. This is theft. It's logical. These are things that mathematically make sense. And there are people that will say, well, a lot of people don't use cash, and only 20% used cash in 2024 and whatnot. Yeah, but to create two systems for a cash register, one for cash, one for credit, there are programming issues that can come up with that. Having worked in that industry before, I know how difficult it is for a gas station, for instance, to shift from having a cash and credit to cash and credit being the same price to having two different prices for each. It's a difficult process. There's programming issues. Computer errors come up. So why not just make it a simple universal system? We're living in a society that has come to accept that whatever we're told or whatever we're spoon fed by the talking heads is truth. And we need to not. We need to take it. We need to look at it. We need to use our critical thought process and say, okay, wait a minute. What is the real line by line, point by point path that this leads to? what's the end result that this leads to? You know, there are a lot of people in the government are talking about specifically having just straight digital currency. Again, because of the fractional fiat crap that we have as a money system right now, it's inflated beyond any logical reason. And we need to, as a society, look at that and say, okay, what is money and why does it have value? And until we can answer that question, we will continue to be robbed by those who are in the aristocracy of power. Anyway, have a good night.